I've got 6 gins, most of which I would consider top shelf. I'm going to blind taste test them and rate and rank them against each other. This jug of Gilbey's gin down at the end, that is definitely not top shelf, but I threw in something super cheap just to keep it honest and see if it matters. Let's go over what I got. First up, Plymouth Gin. I wouldn't have thought before that this is top shelf, but it's $35 and it's kind of its own category. I don't know how many Plymouth Gins there are, but this is the most popular, the namesake. Next up is Nolet's Dry Gin. I have never tasted this before, and I picked it up because one of the comments of a viewer said he liked this gin. At $40, I would consider this top shelf in price at least. This is from the Netherlands. And also from the Netherlands is this number 3 London Dry Gin, even more expensive at $43. And then I have Beefeater London Dry Gin. I wouldn't consider this top shelf. I threw this in because I haven't ever blind tasted it, and a lot of people say they like it. So that's one of the wild cards. It is only $19 here. Another London Dry Gin is Tanqueray No. 10. It is $35. And last, the jug of Gilbey's gin. The whole handle, 1.75 liters, is $14, which adjusted for the size, if it was at $7.50, it would only be $6 something. So that'll be fun. I hope. And every bottle that I buy, I put in a sample bottle, which helps me blind taste test this stuff. So I don't know which is in any of these sample bottles. I'm going to have to look them up according to the number at the end. I'm going to line these up and taste these one at a time and tell you how they go. My last gin blind was the most popular gins, and I was pretty surprised about how different they were from each other. It kind of makes sense because gin is basically a flavored by redistilling vodka. So they add flavor to it with another distillation. So it's slightly more high class than just adding something to vodka. Someone commented in the last video that no one drinks gin neat. So why blind taste test it like that? I don't know if that's true. I think there are people that drink gin neat. If you do, let me know. And even if you don't drink it neat, just knowing the difference in the flavor is a good thing when you're adding it to something like tonic or you're putting it in a cocktail. Every gin has a different flavor. It's good to know what that flavor is. I would say all London dry gins are really similar flavor, just different intensities and some nuances to it. Outside of that, there's a lot of difference. This one doesn't smell bad. No bad ethanol. It has a little juniper. On the nose, I really don't get much, but light juniper. I'm gonna guess that it's not that strong. I better check the alcohol proof. So the Plymouth and the Gilbey's is low, and the other 3 are in the high 40s. Tastes, it's like a London dry gin. Maybe there's a little citrus there, but it's mostly just juniper. There wasn't much to be excited about that one. Seems run-of-the-mill to me. This is less juniper, more citrus. No ethanol still. To me, this one smells nicer. It's definitely less juniper, and there is citrus in there. It's less bitter. I think this one is nicer to sip on. It just tastes a little more complete. There's a little more to it than just juniper and bitterness. I like it a little more than the last. This one smells a lot different than the first two. Floral, maybe? It's a lot more tame, less juniper. Something floral. Maybe a little lemon. Yeah, it's lemon. Like lemon and distant flowers. Whoa. That is intense. Intense, some sort of flowers. I wasn't expecting that. Like some sort of flower bathroom scent. One of those sprayers that would be in a public restroom. Mm. That is too much. I feel like a bathroom scent sprayed me right in the mouth with that one. I would need to mix that with some sort of cocktail to cut it down. That is way too intense of a flavor I don't like sipping on. Almost soapy. Buy a bar of soap and the label on it is just flowers. That's what this gin is. I think this is another London Dry. It smells exactly like the first one from my memory. No, it is more intense than the first one. Mostly juniper, very slight citrus. The citrus comes through a lot more in the flavor. And it's pretty strong, but it's a lot more enjoyable flavor than the soapy flowers of the last. That one's pretty good. There's not much going on with this. It smells like a London Dry, but very weak. Not a bad smell. It's just weak. I think it smells pretty good, actually. Maybe it's just on the more light side of gin. That is very neutral, just like the scent. It tastes like a watered down London Dry gin. It's not harsh or anything like that, though. It's just weak flavor, weak scent. I could see that being useful in certain cocktails where you only want so much juniper on the flavor. But it's easy. It's an easy drink. If you want to ease yourself into gin, this is the one to go for. This one is also very light on the scent. Less juniper, more citrus, kind of sweet. Smells pretty good other than how light it is. That is got the most sweetness of all of this. It does have a little bitterness from juniper. It also has like an orange citrus. That's pretty interesting. I wouldn't call it sweet, but it's the least dry of all of these. I kind of like it. I got to go back through and retry them and see which ones I actually like the best, because the differences are pretty subtle and not how good I think they all are. It's just what you prefer, because they are so different. And by so different, I mean, they're not really that different, but there's different strengths and weaknesses to them all. And if you prefer juniper, you're going to like one. Prefer citrus, you're going to like the other. So hopefully I'm giving you some ideas of what you would like. I don't even know what I like. I know I don't like this one. It's just such a standard London Dry gin. It's a little harsh. I wonder if that's the Gilbeys. It's very one-dimensional, and it's kind of like there's a little juniper in not so great vodka. Yeah, I'm not liking this one so much. I never learned my lesson about taking notes with these blinds. So by the time I get through all of these and come back through, I always forget what I was thinking about them. Less juniper here. It tastes a little less rough, like unsweet lemon. It smells kind of good. But there's a lot of things I think smell good that I don't want to drink. Like deodorant. I can't get over that it's bathroom soap. It just gets worse the more that I drink that. This is very rounded flavor. It's not just pure juniper. And it's hard to say what the actual flavors are, but it's pretty nice. I don't know about this one. It's very one-dimensional. That one dimension is just juniper. I really hope this isn't an expensive one because I don't see why you would spend a lot of money for this. This is like a bar gin. Yeah, this is just generic gin. Definitely a London Dry. There's much more to this one than the last. It does taste a little rougher. Like the neutral grain spirit of it is a little lower quality, but there's more flavor to it. My guess would be this is the Tanqueray No. 10. All right, let's write down my ratings. Now, I like to go from worst to best. So let's find out what the worst was. Last place gave a rating of 29. I just couldn't stand the bathroom soap flavor. And it is Nolet's Dry Gin. I am sorry, the commenter that likes this. I definitely do not like it. I could see at the correct ratio, mixed with the right thing, it making a great cocktail. Something like the Aviation. It has a, what is it? Is it creme de violet? Violet flavored liqueur. It tastes like flowers. It's a pretty good cocktail. This would go good with something like that, or maybe instead of the violet, but it is just not good. Neat. So I gotta give it a value rating for sipping and for mixing, and this is just solely based on a mathematical formula of the price to the quality. And the quality is what I rated it. This gets a sipping value rating of F- and a mixing value rating of F-. And I definitely agree with that because it is not good and it's expensive. But I'm going to caveat that with, like I said, maybe you can mix it the correct proportions to make it good. Because it's an interesting flavor, at least. That brings us to 5th place. I gave a score of 43 out of 100, which is poor. And that is the jug of Gilbey's gin. It is a standard London Dry gin, but it's harsh. It's got nothing going on with it other than some juniper. But because it is so cheap, that actually gives it a sipping value grade of C+, and it gives it a mixing value grade of A. So for gin, if you need a good value mixer, it's pretty good. That's what I got it for. I got the big jug so I could test out any kind of cocktails that have gin in it without spending too much when I'm experimenting. That's what this is good for. So I'm pretty happy with it for that. Coming in at 4th place with a score of 51, Plymouth Gin. It is decent, but it's pretty expensive. I think that's going to make it suffer on its value score. I'm kind of surprised there. I thought I would have liked this better. It only gets a sipping value score of D, and it gets a mixing value score of D+. There's not much value in it for the quality. A little better than that in 3rd place at a rating of 54 is Beefeater Gin. It is only $19. That gives it a sipping value score of C+ and a mixing value of B. 2nd place with a score of 58 is Tanqueray No. 10. It gets a sipping value of C, and a mixing value of C+. And that leaves my favorite with a score of 66. Number 3, London Dry Gin. Pretty expensive for gin, $43, but I think it's the best of all of these. It gets a sipping value of B- and a mixing value of B-. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Every subscriber really helps me out. And let me know what you think. Maybe someone else likes this Nolet. Is it your thing? I don't know. Which one of these do you like? Let me know. I'd like to hear your opinions. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time.